Hey kid, who is your favorite hero?
It is you, sir.
Pum, 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 pum.
Hey old dictator, who is your favorite hero?
It is you, sir.
You see? Everyone loves me.
Yeah, we know, the heroes are supposed to be the stars. They save people, stand for justice, they basically the best of the best, and we're supposed to love them, right?
Wrong.
Well, let's be real. Sometimes we find ourselves way more interested in the villains. It doesn't mean the dark side takes control of us and we sell ourselves to the devil.
Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
There is just something about many villains that's different, more exciting and interesting. And we're not talking about one-dimensional bad guys from fairy tales, who are bad just because. No, our favorite villains don't just walk the line between good and evil, they turn it upside down. They could be charismatic, funny, unpredictable, and honestly, they make the movie. Whether they're making jokes, causing chaos, or even killing other bad guys, there is something magnetic about them. Eventually, we found ourselves kinda rooting for them at times. But why is that? What makes us fall in love with these characters, even when they're evil by nature and break all possible rules of morality? I'm glad you asked. Let's figure it out. Let's start with non-classic modern fairy tales like Shrek. We all love Shrek. Shrek is the best. Oh, by the way, do you remember he is an ogre? Which is wild considering that in mythology and folklore, ogres are usually not the nicest guys. They are monsters who order people for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And Shrek at first seems not like an exception. Huge, scary and quite happy living alone in his swamp, kicking out anyone who is stupid enough to come near. By all means, he should be the villain of the story. So how does this people-eating creature end up being our hero? That's where the magic of Shrek comes in. It changes everything what we expect from an ogre. Instead of terrorizing people, he just wants to be left in peace. Ogre introvert, you know? That's already intriguing. While he has everything of an anti-hero, deep down, Shrek has a good heart. He's loyal, protective and surprisingly vulnerable, which makes us like him. In Shrek movie, we see him go from an outcast who wants to be alone to someone who finds love, friendship, and who finally accepts himself. He challenges classic fairy tale norms by showing that even a monster can have layers. Yeah, just like onions. Shrek's journey turns a freak that should be a villain into a hero, proving that it's not what you are on the outside that defines you. Another great example of charming supervillain from animated world is Gru with his minions. We see him as a classic evil character. He's got a hidden base, an army, and big plans to steal the moon. Gru has everything we'd expect from a villain, but as the story goes on, we realize that he is much more than just a bad guy. When he has to adopt 3 little girls, it's just part of his big plan. But as they get to know each other, Gru becomes a different person. Suddenly, his focus changes from being the best villain in the world to just being the best dad he can be. Gru's journey from villain to loving dad is amazing. Like Shrek, he's a tough guy with no mercy from outside, but actually, he has a huge heart underneath. This makes him our hero, even if he's technically supposed to be the bad guy. Do you know who we can't call a hero by any means, but we still love him more than the classic good guys? Deadpool. He's a freelance mercenary, totally fine with killing people, and we like him anyway. Isn't that weird? Deadpool is this crazy mix of anti-hero and villain, doing whatever he wants and saying whatever he thinks, with a bit of some specific sort of humor we can't get enough of. What makes Deadpool so awesome is that he changes the whole hero idea. He's not here to save babies and teach us any moral norms. He's just doing things he wants to do, no matter it is right or wrong. And the way he mocks classic superhero cliches makes him a breath of fresh air. Deadpool's honesty and straightforward attitude is what we actually value. He's not perfect, and he's not trying to be, which is what makes him so real. So even though he's not hero, he's got that authenticity that turns him to one of our all-time favorite characters. Darth Vader is another villain who somehow wins our love despite all the evil he brings. He's iconic, intimidating, and even though we know he did some pretty bad things, we can't stop enjoying seeing him on the screen. His complex backstory, the fall from the glorious Jedi Anakin Skywalker to the feared Sith Lord, add context to his character that go much deeper than just evil. What really makes Vader interesting is that as we learn more about him, we start to understand his motives, even if it's hard to admit. And we start to see him just as human, conflicted as we are all. He's more than just the villain. He's an anti-hero with tragic life who reminds us that even the worst, darkest characters have a story, a reason behind their choices. It is easy to see why we connect with Darth Vader. He is real, and he's proof that even those who go down the darkest path can still have light within them. And finally, Joker is the perfect example of character who is completely bad. He's dark, violent, and yeah, he kills people. But we still can't stop admiring him. In The Dark Knight, he pretty much steals the show from the Batman, which is crazy considering that Batman is the main hero and protagonist here. But Joker's dark charisma and his breaking all rules vibe make him super interesting to watch. And Joker does all bad things not for money or glory. He is real in the desire to see the world drowning in chaos. He is 100% himself in a way that most good guys, including Batman, just are not. Even though he is a villain, his conflict with Batman is so deep that he almost pushes Batman to rethink his own values. There's something about his unpredictability and darkness that attracts us. Joker forces us to question the whole good versus evil idea and shows the chaos as almost logical and ideal solution. It's that unforgettable, messy complexity that makes us love him, even if we shouldn't. So, if we talk about these evil characters, what do they all have in common? At first, they're typical villains, the bad guys we're not supposed to like, but at the end, each of them show us that character doesn't have to be some kind of ethic standard to win our hearts. They are more than just bad guys. Some of them funny, some of them quite serious, but they are complex and they all break the traditional villain image. Monster from folklore Shrek teaches us that looks don't define who you really are. Longtime supervillain Gru shows that family can bring out the best of us. Deadpool is a good example of the value staying true to ourselves, even if it's strange or non-conventional. Darth Vader proves that redemption is always an option, and even the darkest path can lead back to the light. And Joker showed us how destructive could be the chaos and the lack of empathy. We love the bad guys because they are not one-dimensional and show the both light and dark sides of ourselves. Plus, let's be honest, sometimes it's just so much fun to watch a villain steal the show. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and please let me know who your favorite anti-hero or villain is, and see you in the next one.